Good morning. My name's Dennis with Impatient Creations, and I've got a really exciting project to tell you about this morning. A client brought this old truck in, and he said, I want to keep it a stake bed. I want you to build it with the ride height, the original ride height. He brought it with a stake bed. We had to clean up some of the stake beds and some of the metal pieces and things like that. But some things were very important to him. He wanted it, when you look at it on the profile and when you look at the wheels and tires and all of that, the important things was it had to be the original ride height. So we had to go around and measure fenders and different things like that so that we could make sure that when we got all finished, it was the original ride height. But we want to go disc brakes, we want to go power steering, power brakes. Of course, it had to have an LS engine in it and an automatic transmission and cutouts and aluminum radiator and all of the little fixings on it. And you'll see that in just a minute when we get into the engine compartment. But the cab is very original. The stick shift on it, he wanted a 5-speed. He wanted to snatch and grab. So we kept the shifter in the same location as the 3-speed was. So it was really a fun build, and I just can't wait to show you the rest of this truck. All right. We got the hood open. I want to show you about the engine compartment. This is cool. One of the things we had to do is we had to keep all this original here so that when you raise the hood, it still looked original. Now you'll notice the firewall is a little bit clean compared to a normal truck in this era. It had all kind of holes in it, and the inner fenders as well. So he gave us the freedom to pick that up. We did put the LS in it as a truck engine, a 5.3. It's air conditioned, and we had to get a radiator we still had to use the same space, but now we got to cool, instead of less than 100 horsepower, now we got to cool just under 400 horsepower. So we had to get a NASCAR style radiator, a condenser out in front. The braking and the clutch are all reservoired over here, but they're in the stock locations, which is up underneath the floorboard like it was originally. We come down to a rack and pinion steering in front. Obviously, it's a Mustang 2 suspension, not obviously, but it is a Mustang 2 suspension, which gives it a great ride, coilovers. And then we had to get it the right height, so we had to drop the frame down, or that portion of the frame down, to get to the original ride height. And that may sound sort of obvious, but let me tell you, it's challenging to build all that stuff down low when normally you're bringing the truck down to it. So it was a great build, a lot of fun to drive. It's really a fun truck to drive. It's got that old what, you know, and it feels like a muscle car, and it's a muscle truck. So looking down the truck, you can see that it is a GMC. Now, we did change the badge on there. We left the wheels, and we built the hubcaps because that's the way they originally looked. He wanted the spotlight to work. He wanted to use the original mirrors, keep these vents in place, although they don't do much functioning today because we're an air-conditioned cab. We do an awful lot of LEDs, and these are have the flues on them that are pretty much original, and you can't see the little bulbs that you normally see on LEDs. This has an original appearance, but all of our lights, front and rear, and on the dashboard are all LED. When we came to the bed, he wanted to make it, again, look like it was original. So we cleaned up all of this, but we allowed a little rust to come back, and we keep it just barely rusting. We left hay in the bed so that it would have the look of, a stake bed pickup truck. So it's we kept the springs on the back. We did a little telltale sign with, when it comes out the back, it's got dual exhaust. But let me tell you, the 6-cylinders in those days, you could put dual exhaust on them and they'd really sound bad. Let me open this door and show you a little bit about the interior. Okay, now we're in the interior, and you're going to see that it's really pretty close to original, other than the air conditioning ducts coming across the bottom. We used the instrument cluster openings to put all of our instruments in that. This is an original radio, but my goodness, is it awesome. It has 4 channels. We got speakers everywhere and in the back, and it really does give you some rock and roll. We put a parabolic mirror on it so you can go down the road, because these trucks, especially with the cab that doesn't have the deluxe quarter window in it, it's a little hard to see out of. So that helps us with that. We're using the visors. This actually functions. It actually does work and turns on. He wanted all that to work. You notice the 5-speed here. And it's got turn signals, tilt wheel. I mean, it's got all, and a bench seat. You can see that he wanted the bench seat, and so we had it covered, and it matches up with the door panels and the rest of the interior. And I'm so glad that you tuned in and watched us on this, go over this 47 Stakebed truck. It was a fun truck to build. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.